All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and kick off the call. Lori, are you still with me?
I'm right here.
All right, perfect. We muted the line, so we'll unmute at the end for questions. But welcome to our call. It's Krystal Pearl, Presidential Diamond, and we have Lori Humble, Double Diamond, on the line with us. And we're super excited because today we are going to talk to you guys a little bit about expos and events. So I'm excited. Lori, you've been doing expos for a long time. I know you introduced me to them right when I got started in the business.
Oh, about 25 years.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear some of the stuff you got to say too. So first off, just some things that I wanted to start talking about are, well, expos are great. Expos and events are awesome because it's just a great way that you can meet people, network with other people, and kind of, for some people it's a little bit more comfortable because people are coming to your booth. They're coming to see what you have to offer, so it just makes it a little bit more comfortable for people. And usually, you hope that there's going to be a decent crowd there, so you have a guaranteed amount of people that will be walking through, so you have a great opportunity to talk to people. So it's just a great way to get yourself out there. I know for me, I have some ways that I've found expos, but Lori, what have you done to find expos?
Well, in the beginning, Krystal, I had used Craigslist. I would look at different boards, wherever I went to a public board, I'd look for events going on. I didn't do a lot on Facebook when I first started this, but I would connect with people that I knew through business and to see what they were doing and what was going on, maybe people I'd done expos with before. But there's so many different ways. You can look on websites for churches, you can look at schools, you can watch your local newspaper, look on the boards at Caribou, look at fundraisers. Just if you are just very conscious about looking for what's going on, it doesn't have to be big, you don't want it to be expensive. When you're starting, you want to really keep it inexpensive. And small is better too, because then, don't you think, Krystal, like when you first started that, like, 10 people coming up to the booth would have been, oh my gosh, but if you had one person that you could really have a conversation with, that's how you learn to talk to them. So, just keep watching. And there's so many different groups on Facebook now that are doing events that, to just get on those and watch. But always just locally, I always like to keep my business local. Because there's plenty of skin and people right around my hometown that need me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And put it out there to people that you're looking, so if they find something, maybe they can let you know and vice versa.
Yep, absolutely. I was going to say a couple other ways. Get together, ask people that you know that are in other network marketing businesses what they have going on. It's a great way to stay connected with them and for them to think about you whenever they hear that an event doesn't have a networks person. It's good to build that relationship with them. So ask other workers what they have going on. Same thing. Facebook, Craigslist is a great way. A lot of churches, now that we're getting into fall, will have like their Fall Fest, where they'll have different vendors that can come in. Also, always around Christmas time, oh my gosh, there's like 20 of them every single weekend. I mean, just all over the place at different churches, community centers. So now is definitely the time to start looking for those things because, believe it or not, I mean, I think it was Christina Treat. I saw her post today, 20 more Fridays until Christmas. I was like, oh my gosh. So people are already kind of in that mindset of, we're going to be planning stuff. We have things coming up. And a couple other ideas. This is kind of a great way to get your foot in the door in different salons and chiropractor offices. A lot of them do like client appreciation nights or small business nights, different things like that. So this is a great way when you're out blitzing, pop in and just say, hey, I'm a small business owner. Do you guys ever have customer appreciation or ladies' night type things where you allow other businesses to come in and set up a table. And then they're going to ask you, well, what is it that you do? So what a great way to get your Blitz card to them. And then if they do have events like that, then great. And some businesses, too, they'll let you. I know I was in the salon for a number of years, and we had different people that set up usually on Fridays and Saturdays. They would come and set up a table, and usually it was more purses or jewelry or different things like that, but it could absolutely be what we have to offer, too. So what a great way to get your foot in the door and start building a relationship there.
Yeah, a lot of banks do too. If you have a
Mm-hmm.
local bank, I've had a table out at different U.S. bank branches a number of times, so be sure to ask there. I don't think you have to have a business account there. I think you just have to be, part of that bank. So banks do that, and then a lot of gyms have a couple times a month and you don't have to be a member of the gym. I haven't been, and I've still had a table out there.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times things like that, they're free or they're very, very low cost. So what's better than that? I mean, and I think if all else fails and you're looking for an event, create your own. This is another great opportunity. If you have a space, maybe a community center by your house or a church that has a community room, or even if your home is big enough that you could get, 5 different direct sale network marketing type companies in your home, and everybody agree that they're going to invite everybody on their Facebook list and all of their contacts. What a great way to get in front of people that you maybe wouldn't have otherwise. So always be thinking about things like that as well.
And so we both know that it doesn't matter how many people come in, because you and I are great at going around and meeting every single vendor, see what they have, and build rapport with them. So no event is a bad event.
No, never. Yeah, I mean, I know, and I was going to talk about this in just a couple minutes, but I know for me, some of my worst events, Lori and I, we did an expo, and it was horrible. It was a huge snowstorm. I think literally one person walked through that entire event, but it ended up that 3 people in that room that night became diamonds on my team. So you just never know who was going to be in that room, and they were all with different companies. So always be meeting people, building relationships with people. People that are in other businesses similar to ours, I think, are some of the best people to start building a relationship with, because they already get it. They know what it takes to do a business like this. They kind of are already in that mindset that they want to be entrepreneurs, and sometimes they just didn't find the right fit for themselves in their current business. So when they see what you got going on and they see that you're having all this fun and you're making this money, they're going to be drawn to that, and they're going to start asking about what it is that you got going on. So always be connecting with people. All right, so when you have a booth, you actually don't need, I think sometimes people shy away from doing expos because they feel like they don't have a setup and they don't have enough things to do in expo, but really you don't need much. You can go to Michael's, you can go to the dollar store, anything that's black, green, and bling, set it on your table to dress it up a little bit. But your main thing that you're going to want to have is, obviously, you're going to want to have a brag book with pictures. And if you have your own personal pictures in there, obviously even better. Keep it open to that page, because then when people come up and say, does it actually work? You can be like, yeah, this is actually what it did for me, and pull out your picture. I think that's huge. Other than that, you're going to want a dried out wrap, which you should always have a dried out body wrap and a dried out facial, so you can show people what it looks like. Some of us have gotten creative, and, we've been doing this for over 4 years, so, now I have, the mannequin that my wrap goes on. I know, Lori, you're notorious for having it in your pocket at all times because you're always pulling it out. But basically, you want your wraps, you want your pictures. I think it's always good to have an ingredient list. I like the one that explains what each ingredient is doing in your body. And your Blitz cards, obviously, that's going to be huge. You want to make sure you're getting your information in people's hands. That's the most important thing. And then one thing that every expo has to have is you have to have some sort of drawing at your expo. The main idea of expos and events is not to sell hundreds of wraps. Don't think that you're going to come out of there making a huge profit. You know, sometimes we're lucky if we make our cost back right away, but it's an investment in your business, and hopefully the leads that you get, the connections that you make are going to pay for that expo 10 times over. So you want to do a drawing because you want to get people's contact information. And I have the drawing form that I use on the VIP page. I know there's another one on the movers and shakers as well, so it's probably the same one, I think. But make sure that people are registering for the drawing. What I typically say is we're doing a drawing for some free products, and I leave it just at that. So, you know, that way you're getting their contact information. And also this is a great time that if you're making a connection with somebody and you're talking to them for a while, you can jot down notes on the back of the card and initial it if you're doing an expo with multiple people, so you get that lead back. But make notes of people. I think that's really huge to a lot of people, that when you know you remember them and you remember something specifically about them, that's a huge compliment to that person. So definitely do that. What else do we want at booth, Lori?
I like to do samples of the greens.
Yep.
That will, you know, I'll have, what I've currently been doing is just having a soft-sided cooler. I have a bag of ice in it. I have bottles of water, and then I bring some greens with. So, and Dixie cups with a little tray from the dollar store. And so I'm just filling those up as people are coming up. But what that does is most everyone is, some people are a little reluctant because it's green. Some people want to try it because it's green. But it keeps them at your booth longer, and you're able to tell them this is our number 2 selling product. I know, looks scary, but it's for kids, adults, and these are some of the things that the benefits we've heard. I keep a box or jar out, and I have something about the greens on a frame right there. The longer they can stay at your booth and they're asking you questions, the better chance you have of getting a qualified lead that you've written on that slip. And when you have, when you're calling them back then, you've been in conversation with them, so you can just continue that. So the greens has been a big deal. I always put a shirt on my mannequin and then a wrap on it too. People kind of just get a kick out of that. Yeah, your sign-in slips. I'll put a few products out, so that again keeps people, they stop, they pick it up, they look. Empty bottles, of course. I have an empty wrap box. I have a wrap there, so I can show them the dry one. Then I can go to showing them the one in the envelope. This is how little, and then here's the box that 4 come in, because that's a good treatment. So you can progress right from each. Make sure you're having things handy, that you have your loyal customer forms handy. I have applicator or product catalogs with me, but I don't hand them out to everyone. If I've talked for a bit about a few different products, I'm certainly going to hand one off to someone like that, and making sure that I'm going to follow up with them and see if we can't go over that together. I think less is best on the table, that it looks professional, not gaudy. Make sure all your things are in good condition. Oh, the gel. I like to have a tube of the gel, because that's a conversation piece. You can just kind of hold that. Here, let me put a little bit on your fingertip, and they say, oh, rub it on your neck. And, you know, then they start talking about, yeah, my neck needs this, which then leads to another conversation. But then they get a good feel of it, how it smells. So having that there. So I have generally some banners set up behind me. But you always want to, when you're new, you want to keep things cost effective. So as you start making money at this, then you can start purchasing other things. You always want to be rolling your money back into the business till you're at a pretty good profit level, so you can feel confident about going to do things. And buddy up with teams too, of course. When there's more people at the booth having fun and talking to people, more people are going to be stopping at the booth. Like we had Krystal, when Krystal and I and Joan were there, we were having a great time. We had people were at our booth the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And yeah, just like Lori said, I mean, you can do so much with a booth when you're starting out, I mean, with so little. So don't feel like you need to get banners and you don't need to do all this crazy stuff. Don't feel like you need to have every single product that we have to do an expo. Start with setting out empty bottles of what you're currently using and what you have. And as far as signage, oh my gosh, we have so much free marketing material in the document section of our e-office. So go to the dollar store, get some frames, and just pop some of those in. Just print them out and pop those in frames. I mean, that goes a long ways. So absolutely don't. And start with the small shows. You know, stay within your budget. That's one of the worst mistakes I see people do is they come into this business, they're brand new, they're already struggling for money, and then they put a $700 show on their credit card. Don't do that. And yeah, absolutely. It's always so much more fun to split the booth with people. So do that. Get the wrap on people at expos. That's great because that again creates excitement. You know, whenever we're coming out of the wrap booth and somebody lost a lot and they're excited and they're looking at their pictures like, oh my gosh, that's when we get a huge crowd of people coming around our booth as well. So wrap at the event if you can. If it's a big enough space, you can get a little cabana. If it's a small event, just bring them back in the bathroom and pop a wrap on them. Very easy to do, and make sure they're coming back to you. I always hold on to the measurement slips or the pictures so they come back and see me so I can give them their results once they're all done. And we usually wrap for $25, or we do the wraps on the go. You know, don't be afraid to have somebody buy a wrap from you and just do it at home. That's totally fine too. I mean, my first goal is always to put the wrap on them myself, of course, because we know people do it wrong, or they don't take pictures, or they don't whatever. But if you're not able to, especially if you're in an outdoor expo and it's hot, just have them take it home and tell them it's real easy. Make sure you're getting their contact information so you can follow up with them after they do wrap. So that's really important. As far as etiquette when you're at an event, you know, it's like anything. We want to be having fun. We want people to see that we are a fun company. We have a good time. But with that, we want to make sure that we're also being professional. So, you know, make sure to wear your black, green, and bling. Be talking to people, but don't just be talking to yourselves. Be out there talking to people. So, like, a great conversation starter is, you know, obviously we're handing out our info, but if you see somebody that walks by that has a great dress on or a great purse, just compliment them. And a lot of times they'll stop and they'll talk to you just because you gave them a compliment. So that's a great way to get them to kind of look at your booth. Make sure that you're not, you know, sitting and on your Facebook and texting or sitting there and chowing down on food. Make sure that you are keeping it professional and just smile and just eye contact with people. That's huge because if you're approachable, it's going to make it so much easier for somebody. You know, they came to that event looking for ideas and looking for new products and to go shopping. So if you're down looking at your phone, they're not going to come talk to you. I know that I wouldn't go talk to somebody. And just say hi to people. I mean, last year, Josh and I, it was so funny. We went to it was just like a home remodeling type of event. And nobody wanted to talk to us. It was like the weirdest thing ever because we had all of these house projects that we wanted to do around our house. And I don't know if it was that we were young and they didn't think that we could afford it, or I'm not sure what they thought, but there were so many people that we would just come up and say, oh, hi, and we'd just kind of be looking at their stuff, and they never said one word to us. So make sure that you're being friendly and you're being approachable, because the couple people that were really engaged with us and that showed us a little personality and they showed us that they were excited for our business, those are the people we worked with because they were the people we wanted to give our business to. And then, of course, you know, like we said earlier, always be networking. Always make sure that you're going around to all of the booths and you're just making connections with the other networkers that are there. I always like to get them on Facebook right away. So I'm grabbing people's business cards and I'm adding them to Facebook. Also, anything that I ever need, like a lot of times if I'm at the holiday shows, the Christmas shows, I'm making sure that I'm supporting other small businesses and I'm getting my Christmas shopping done while I'm there, and I'm trying to support those other small businesses. So they will hopefully support us as well. What else? Anything else on that, Lori, that I may have missed on etiquette?
You know, if someone comes up to the booth and they've talked to, let's say, Sandy, and then they're going to go back and go around, and they come back and they end up talking to Sue. Well, Sandy talked to them to begin with. If they're going to do anything, they need to be talking to Sandy again, because she planted those seeds and got that going. So they go back to that person. If there's an event that we are just visiting and they have an It Works table there, we cannot be handing out our It Works information out to anyone in that building, because that person, those people have paid to be there. Anyone in there is free game to them. So we don't want to be stepping on anyone's toes, because we wouldn't want that done to us.
Absolutely.
If anything, I've had this done to me before, that someone's come up to me, this is Krystal, and we were down in at the casino. Someone came up and said, yeah, so-and-so said, I met her, she says she's in at work, but she doesn't have a booth here. She said I should come over and talk to you. And I thought, wow, that was great. She really could have handed her her card, but she didn't. She sent him over to our booth. So, which is the right thing to do, because if you keep doing that and people know that's what you do, that's the way it will continue. What else?
If you're sharing a booth with people, make sure everybody's taking turns being up front. So, we've done some of the bigger shows where we'll have like a group of 4. We always make sure that there's, kind of 2 people outside of the booth giving out blitz cards and 2 people kind of inside answering questions and wrapping people. And we're always rotating, so make sure you take turns.
And we always put so many wraps. We start with, at a big event, we might, if we have 3 people, we'll all put 4 wraps in the wrap room. So it doesn't matter who is actually in there putting that wrap on that person. It's kind of silly to, okay, excuse me, I'm going to go wrap her when someone's already there. So we end up splitting wraps, so we do it as fairly as we can. So everyone's making some money back.
Absolutely.
And there's always going to be people at the booth that is a stronger personality. Someone else is a little more, I don't want to jump out in front of them. So you just want to make sure you recognize what these personalities at the table are. So this person that's not as confident or doesn't quite know what to do doesn't sit back and not talk to people. That's the opportunity that you have to teach that person to go, okay, you talk to them, here they come. Hand them your card. So it's a great way for us all to work together.
Yep, absolutely. One team, one mission.
Splitting prices.
Yep.
If you are the one that gets the booth and has the dollar there, make sure as soon as someone says, I'm in, you get their money from them, because to be honest with you, Krystal and I have lost a lot of money because we assume that person that said they're going to be there will come with money or get us money before. And we've been out a lot of money because we just trusted that person is going to do what they said they're going to do.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. So if you are getting a booth and you're splitting it with other people, just make sure they know that they do need to pay you up front to secure that spot. Unless, if you're doing it and you're getting it out to your team and you're okay, if you maybe don't get paid, then that's one thing. But I always say, get the money right up front from people who are doing it, because it's just like anything else. If you secure that spot, you've already put your money down. I mean, I have shows that are booked out over a year that I had to pay in full to keep my spot with these people. So we put a lot of money into these shows, and for everybody in our team that does do the shows with us, just don't say you're going to do it unless you're 100% sure that you are able to do that financially and with your schedule. And, because we want to help you guys get to these shows. We really do. And we want to help you build your business. But, also we want to make sure that, it's a good investment for us, because it's, if you weren't there, there's somebody else that probably would have been there that would have loved the opportunity. So, it's just like anything else. All right, so just some other things. So when you're at your booth, you want to create excitement. Like we were saying, when you come out with with the wraps, somebody who's just wrapped, or you come out with somebody who, like Lori was saying, sampling the greens. That's great to do. Lisa Fuller's post, and I think I saw Brandy did this week, doing the team berry or team orange and doing samples of the berry greens or the orange and having people put a tally on which one they like better. I loved that. I think that's a great idea. You could also do this at the ProFit if you wanted. Greens is definitely going to be more cost effective for you to do it with, but if you wanted to do it with the ProFit, you could certainly do chocolate versus vanilla. That would be great. You can have a board outside, like a Biggest Loser board, and as people are the biggest losers, jot down who's in first place or, whatever. That's kind of fun. I know I've seen a lot of people that do like a wheel, like a spin the wheel for a prize, anything like that. People love that kind of stuff. So get creative with it and think of different things to really get that interaction, because that is, as soon as you get that interaction at your booth, that's when you have people coming up and they're wondering what the buzz is all about and what the excitement's all about. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about, and then Lori, if there's anything else you wanted to bring up, is follow-up. Follow-up is so important when you do an expo. Like I said, the main reason for you to do an expo is because you're trying to get leads, and you're trying to book parties, and you're trying to get opportunity meetings. So you want to make sure that you are following up. If you're not willing to follow up, don't do expos. It's not worth it for you, because the magic is in the follow-up, I believe. So I go by the 2x2x2 rule. I follow up with people after an event 2 days, and then if I don't get a hold of them, I'll do 2 weeks, and then I'll hold on to them for about 2 months. And sometimes a lot of my leads that I thought were really, really good leads, I've even held on to longer, because we all know that sometimes it's just timing for people, and especially the ones that say they're interested in the opportunity. I hold on to those, and I'll keep touching base with them until they say they aren't interested, or it's just not for them, or whatever it may be. So follow that rule. A great thing that you can do with the drawing slips is when we're doing the drawing, a lot of people will call people and say that they want a free spa party. So what the spa party is, the way that I do the spa party is I take one wrap and I cut it into 6 pieces, and it's 6 little mini chin wraps for them and their guests. And then you can do, something fun if you want. You can bring the cleansing line, the facial line, and they can, do little facials or whatever it may be. But I just do the chins, and then I basically walk through the party just like I do a normal wrap party. And I tell them if they want to upgrade to a full wrap for the $25, they can do that at the party. So that makes it super, super easy to do. And, same thing with people that want to do parties. They mark on their slip that they want to do a party or they're interested in the opportunity. Those are the hot leads you want to make sure that you're getting back with ASAP, getting their parties on the books, getting an opportunity meeting set up. I think it's always best strength in numbers, so getting a 3-way call set up with yourself and your sponsor to tell them a little bit about what we do, or if they're close, sitting down for coffee is great. Let's see. What else about follow-up? What do you say when you're following up, Lori?
Well, one thing is on the sign-in form, if you have on there do a text, a lot of people prefer that. Then they have your information. Some people don't answer their phone if they don't recognize the phone number. So there's always the texting, and then we have different verbiage. Like we had a boot camp from Lori Faber. There's different verbiage for texting. So it might be texting first, calling, and then, like you said, the 2x2x2. I highlight on my cards. I write where I met them. I'm always saying something like cute blonde, had 2 small kids with her, works at whatever. So I can pick up that conversation, like Krystal said, building rapport with them, that they're not just a number that we had. I highlight and write left a message and the date. And then when I call again or text, I put that information. And, if I can't get a hold of them and they don't call me back, I'll just put that in a pile, and then eventually maybe I'll try it again. I do when it is someone, like Krystal said too, that they want to have a party, you really like them, you maybe talk to them for a bit of time, they're interested in the business. I've said if I have called them, and I have too, 3, 4, 5 times over maybe a month, hey, this is Lori Humble. I know I've called you a bunch because I said I would. And I know I have like 3 more times before I'd be considered a stalker. So until you tell me to quit calling you, I just think we would work really well together. I'm going to call you back. So if you want me to quit calling, just call me and tell me. And I'd say it very light and funny. So it's really a compliment to them. Now, I know I've appreciated when I wanted to do something or I wanted to buy something or I needed to schedule something that they keep calling me because, man, if I got to look up their phone number, I'm kind of busy. I appreciate that someone calls me back, cares enough to call back. So, we can kind of make a joke out of that. You're not quite a stalker yet.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's always keeping it light and fun, and absolutely if they're just not interested, a lot of times they'll just tell you I'm not interested, or they'll text you I'm not interested, and then that's great. Just
Yeah.
it's time, and then you just move on. But yeah, absolutely. I do a ton of texting. Texting is my main way of follow up after an expo, mainly because I'm home with kids the majority of my days, and so it's quiet. I can text somebody and have screaming kids in the background, and that's totally fine. So I do a lot of that, and absolutely if it's somebody that I had a really strong connection with party or opportunity, I'll probably shoot them a text first, but I'll definitely be giving them a call and trying to make more of that personal connection with them. And other than that, I mean, like I said, follow-up's huge. It's keeping it simple, and it can be just as easy as, hey, hey, Amy, this is Krystal. I met you at the Women's Expo the other day. I saw that you were interested in some products. I'd love to tell you a little bit more about that crazy wrap thing. When's a good time to connect? So just keep it short and sweet. And same thing this is something I was going to bring up earlier, so it's a little out of the topic right now, but when you are at the booth too, make sure you're not, just like we talked about with blitzing last week, make sure you're not throwing up on people. Keep it really short and sweet. Hey, have you heard of It Works? No, I haven't. Well, this is what it is and this is what it does. And then just be quiet and wait until they start talking about what they're interested in. This is where the color personalities comes into play, and I think that would be a great call for us to do soon, Lori, for those of you that don't know what it is. But if not, you can even Google it. But color personalities is, you give somebody a blitz card and they're like, oh my gosh, you guys do parties? Well, you instantly know that they're a blue personality, so you want to be talking to them about all of the fun events, the parties. If they're interested in the opportunity, talk to them about the traveling, just the fun, all of the fun. So, those are kind of some key things that you want to just really focus on, and never answer a question that you weren't asked. That's something that Pam Sauter has said before, and it's so important. If they have not asked you it, don't tell them about it. So only tell them about what they're asking you about, and then just be quiet. Really important. And then something, too, that you can do with your follow-up is what I have on my cards, on my drawing slips, is I ask them if they're on Facebook and if I can friend them on Facebook, because that's been really successful for me, because then if it's just not for them right now, at this minute, we've made a connection on Facebook, and they're going to start seeing what I'm doing. And when they are ready, I want them to come to me about this. And I've actually gotten a lot of distributors on my team that way, and loyal customers. There are people that I met 2 years ago at an event, and they're just now ready. So, I mean, that goes back to that power of social media is so huge. So, let's see. Anything else, Lori, before we open it up for questions?
No, let's take questions.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to unmute the call, guys, just a minute. Oh, how do I unmute? Okay, guys, the line is open, so we might have a little bit of background noise, but if anybody has any questions about events and expos, we'd love to get your questions answered, so just let us know who we're talking to and what your question is. Anyone?
It's Nicole Kelly.
Hey, Nicole.
How are ya?
Good. How are you?
Good. See, I was wondering, I was looking through the our page the other day, and is there a good flyer or pamphlet or kind of like a how-to that you guys give for like Go Wrap?
Yes, I have one, and I believe that it's on our team page, but it might not be. So when we get off of here, I'll make sure that it's posted, or I will tag you in it on our team page. But yeah, it's just basically, I have the one, it just gives them the instructions, tells them to drink water. There's a little place that they can put their before and after picture if they want, and then it has my contact information on the bottom. So I will make sure I get that posted for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else? Well, I think that means we did a pretty good job, Lori.
I guess that's a wrap.
All right, guys, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I would love anybody who has pictures of booth setups that they've done, post them on our team page after this call just to give people different ideas of how you're setting up your booths. I think that would be awesome to see. And other than that, we will talk to you guys next Thursday at 8 p.m. Can't wait. Have a good week, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.